Hello. Today, I would like to talk about a meditation, which is very, very important for all of us. Meditation has been essential for many Buddhist practitioners for centuries. And even today, it is very, very relevant because we are living in such a chaotic environment. And due to such a situation, circumstances, we are very stressful, and many of us we don't feel so much peace in our heart. In order to practice meditation efficiently, we have to depend on so many factors. So today, I would like to share a few of the important points which will definitely help you to practice more successfully. First, we have to know about the importance of mindfulness and awareness. Second, we also have to know how to deal with our thoughts. Uh, this is also very, very important. Thirdly, it is also very important to make sure that we don't exert too much pressure on our physical and mental health. And finally, we have to also know how to overcome agitation and dullness, which may hinder our progress in meditation. And if we are able to remember this point, and if you can apply into your daily practice of meditation, it will be very, very meaningful. So, in the beginning, let me explain you about the importance of mindfulness and awareness. Today, in fact, many people has made meditation as an integral part of their life, and I know many people practice on daily basis, which is very, very important. Now, practice of meditation is not that simple. We cannot just sit on the comfortable chair and start to practice. We have to depend on qualified teachers, which is very, very important. Or else, even we may put a lot of effort, at the end, we may not find any successful result. So teacher is very, very important. Unfortunately, today, many beginners, they simply rely on meditation manual, which is in fact not really advisable. And when you approach such a path, sometimes it is also counterproductive. So one must try not to just follow through meditation manuals. The teacher is very, very, very important. Firstly, let me discuss about the importance of mindfulness. Mindfulness means focus or total concentration. And in order to enhance meditation, mindfulness is very, very essential. Without mindfulness, if you simply meditate, it's like um, you know um, holding a candle in the windy areas where you won't able to see the flame. So mindfulness, the function of mindfulness is to develop total focus, which is again important. Secondly, awareness. Awareness, the function of awareness is to help us to be constantly vigilant of our thoughts. Because when you start to meditate, our mind is entangled with so many kinds of thoughts, past and future, present, and without being total vigilant about your mind, you may totally lose the focus and end up with failure. Therefore, in order to acquire success in meditation, mindfulness, awareness, these are the tools that we must embrace and try to apply in our meditation. As many beginners are worried about thoughts, therefore, many of us may try to restrict our thoughts. If I speak frankly, thought is not such a dangerous to our practice. It is quite normal to have thoughts. I'll be more worried if you don't have thought. I mean, there may be something wrong with you. So it is quite normal to have thoughts. But it is very important to make sure that you are not carried away by these thoughts. Our mind is basically like a child, and we cannot restrict too much, but at the same time we can't afford to let to spoil the child. So similarly, if you try to restrict our thought each and every step, then our thought mind may get more agitated, and this may lead to more obstacle. So we have to be very careful with how we deal our thoughts, and make sure that we are not exerting too much to our mind. There's a very interesting story about this about thoughts. How much concentration, or how much restriction that we have to apply to our mind. Sarona is well known for as a classical guitar player in India, and he wanted to learn a meditation with Ananda, and he followed Ananda for many years, and somehow he was not able to really practice because sometimes he was exerting too much pressure in his mind. Sometimes he's too strict, hard on himself, and sometimes he's a bit relaxed. So he couldn't find the balance, and then he was not able to practice meditation. And after a few years, Ananda, said, "I think I must bring you to Buddha because I'm not able to help you more meaningfully. So Buddha can guide you better." So Sarona agreed to meet Buddha, and he went to see Buddha. And as Buddha always skillfully helped many of his disciples, and Buddha asked to him, "I know you are a very good classical guitar player." And he said, "Yes. In order to produce a good, beautiful sound, what you need to do?" He said, immediately he replied to Buddha that, the string cannot be too tight, or it cannot be too slack. And this is where you will find a beautiful sound. So Buddha said, "That's okay. That's it is. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You cannot be too strict on yourself, and you cannot be too relaxed. and you have to find a middle ground where you can see the success. And so when he followed the advice of Buddha, so he was able to practice successfully. Thus, it is very important for us, even when we have thoughts, we shouldn't worry so much, but we should know how to deal with thoughts, because after all, thought itself is not a problem, but when you start to follow thoughts, that is where the problem lies. On the one hand, we are told that perseverance, the right effort, patience are very, very important. But on the other hand, if we exert too much pressure on our physical and particularly our mental health, then we may not able to practice as we may wish. After all, we wish to practice meditation to achieve temporary relief from all forms of stress in our daily life, ultimately to find a permanent peace in our heart. And this is the purpose of meditation. And somehow, if we exert too much pressure on the physical and mental health, then what happens is that we may not able to continue with our practice. So this is the reason why there are so many great masters. They will always explain and advise their student to make sure that they need to take care their physical and mental health, or else our effort would be meaningless. I know we want to practice meditation, but at the same time, we also have to know that we need to take care of so many factors in order to see a successful result. Like for instance, in modern days, a lot of people like to keep animals as a pet, particularly people who live in cities. They like to have a cat or a dog as a partner. And myself, I have 2 cats. I'm going to have another 2 more cats, and very soon I'm going to have a few more dogs. So because I love animal, and we all like to have animal. And being an owner of animals, and we know being an owner of pets, if we put a dog or cat into the cage, and the moment when you open the cage, they will always try to run away because they feel so restricted, so hard on them. So they always try to run away from you. However, if you let your pet roam freely, they will never run away. So similarly, with our mind, if we exert too much pressure on our physical health and mental health, then mind will always try to wander. For this reason, we have to make sure that we are not exerting too much pressure to our physical and mental, and this is where probably we will see a positive result. So it is very important as a practitioner to know that when we practice meditation, it's not about just making the effort. We have to make the wise effort, which means finally, many practitioners face ill effect of agitation and dullness. It is an uphill task for many beginners. Our mind travels through a crowded, narrow corridor, which again affects the stability of our mind. If we can't deal skillfully to overcome the ill effect of agitation and dullness, we can't really achieve success in any forms of meditation. So we have to overcome these 2 obstacles in our practice. Firstly, agitation. When we are agitated, Even when we look, we shouldn't look up high. We should look lower, which help our mind to come back. And most importantly, if our mind is agitated, we shouldn't think what makes you agitated. Many times people ask me, Rinpoche, I'm so angry when I think about these people. So I always tell them, why you think about this particular person? If this person does not make you happy. So similarly, we cannot afford to think, which affects our practice of meditation. Secondly, dullness. When we are physically tired, when we slowly tend to lose interest, this dullness become more serious. So when dullness comes in us, immediately, if you're looking low, you should raise, you should look high above, which again helps our mind to be, more cheerful. And of course, we should also think whatever that makes us, happy. So this will again help us to overcome dullness. So when you apply all the techniques which I've explained earlier, we have to make sure that every time when we practice meditation, mindfulness, awareness has to be fully present, which will really help us in our meditation. And we should also know how to deal with our thoughts. After all, thought is not a serious issue in meditation. Wandering will be, more serious. And as long as you're mindful, and if you're alert, thoughts will not affect us. And also, we have to make sure that our physical health and mental health is well taken care of, which is very, very important. And finally, we should make sure that we should never give opportunities to agitation and dullness. And this will be very, very important. And if we are able to enhance with all these techniques, I don't think anybody will fail in meditation. Thank you.